Hello guys, this is Mike from McProgramming.org. In the last tutorial we went over the while loop, and if you remember we set a variable equal to 1 and we just ran through it while it was less than 10. So what I'm going to go over in this tutorial is very similar. It has one minor difference, and it's called a do while loop. And what we're going to do is we're pretty much just going to move that there at the end and say do. So it would say do this while this, and the only difference between that is this statement in here will always be executed at least one time. And just for doing something new, let's make a different example. I'll use strings this time, and we will keep printing something out or asking the user to enter a word until they hit exit. Okay, so we can get rid of this in x equals 1, and we're going to need to include the string header so we can mess with strings. Include string. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to set a variable right now, string, and let's just call that input. You don't need to initialize it at all. And what we want to say is we want to do something in here, and we're going to say while, or whoops, not while, we're going to say while input does not equal, and put in string quotation marks exit. Okay, so in here now what we're going to do is we're going to prompt the user to enter a word. So we're going to say cout less than enter a word, and in quotation or parentheses we'll just kind of let them know that if we want to exit, we'll end the loop. Okay, there we go, and we can end that with the parentheses, and we'll say inline also. Inline, end it with a semicolon. The next thing we got to do is we got to have the user's input put into that input variable. So the way we do that, if you remember, is cin, and we're going to do greater than, and put it into input. So what that does is it takes the word that's entered by the user and puts it into that variable. So that's why we didn't initialize it up here. And then we want to cout, let's say, I can't type, you typed, then we'll concatenate that with, we'll just add it like this, less than input. Make sure there's a space right here, so it'll say you typed, and then it'll have a little space, and it'll say the word, so it looks like a normal sentence, and we'll end that line. And it should exit if we type exit just like that. And just to make sure, we'll let the user know that they did exit. You exited loop. There we go. Alright, so that looks good. So basically the logic behind this is when you want to use a do while loop is when there's something that you may need to loop a bunch of times, but you need to at least execute one time. So in this case, we need them to enter a word, and we're going to keep asking them for a word until they want to exit out. So if we had a while loop, it would be a little bit harder to deal with this. We'd have to have a statement outside the while loop and then have it again inside of here in case they keep doing it. So this is an easy way to execute once and then check if the condition's true and then execute again. So let's run that real quick. Yes, it may take a second for my computer to run this. Hopefully not. Oh, there we go. Alright, so enter a word. Say dog. So you type dog, enter a word. Cat. Okay, now I'll just write exit. And it says you typed exit, you exited the loop. So that is our program, and that is how the do while loop works. So thank you all for watching. Please subscribe below if you're watching on YouTube. And the next tutorial I believe will be on a for loop. So please join me. Thank you.